It may seem strange for me to introduce my topic with the Latin phrase Pax voviscum, which means peace be with you. I'm not of the Roman Catholic faith, as you all know, but Latin sometimes expresses things better than, say, colloquial English. Anyway, the peace that God gives us is through Spirit. The times when we feel lost and alone is a time when God's Spirit comes through and gives us that sense of communion and belonging. So often in our personal lives we come across circumstances where things disappoint us and we realise that we need the peace of God within our spirit. And it's so important that we recognise that. Recently, we heard of the passing of the Jesus man in Bradford, and the peace of God certainly surrounded him on his earthly journey. I hope that our peace is within. This world is so mixed up, crazy. There's so many things going on, the people being murdered, people being assaulted, people are being manipulated, people are being used for military gain. But at the centre of our being, as spiritualists or humanists or Christians or Jews, is that central belief in the peace within. And so this evening I'm reflecting very much on that particular thought, that particular peace. Because the peace of God does pass all understanding. We don't understand sometimes why God allows things to happen, why He allows things to take place in our lives, and we seem to have no control over things. We don't seem to have any control over our lives at all at times. But when you think about it, logically, we're not in control of our lives anyway, because it's to a higher power. A higher power, God, Yahweh, El Shaddai, Allah, whatever you want to call the term of God. We've got to remember that it's spirit. In spiritualism we talk about God the Father. We talk about the brotherhood of man, the fatherhood of God. And it's there all the time. There is that idea and that identity of God the Father in all circumstances and situations that we may enter into. I suppose in some ways, because we are living on this planet, we sometimes forget that we have a responsibility to it. We have a responsibility to the animal kingdom. We have a responsibility to each other. A responsibility to nations. But in some ways, perhaps we have lost sight of what peace is. Peace is something within the spirit and the soul. It's not something you can smell, see or touch in the general sense. But peace, you can see that in people's lives, people's application of what they believe to be peace. And whatever we believe or whatever we think in the God sense, some people don't do God. I'm of the opinion that you can either do God or not. Some people are what they call humanists. They don't believe in any kind of entity or being, and they don't recognise that. But they do care about human values and human society and how that affects other people. We have cause and effect in our world. If you hurt someone or you do someone a disservice, that can lead to all kinds of problems. It can lead to an awful lot of stress, but it can also lead to strength and the ability to rise above it. So I would say to you, my friends, that if you are in a circumstance of Pax voviscum, peace be with you, because the peace that we have is within our spirits. George Fox, who was the founder of the Quakers, used to talk about peace at the centre. And he meant the centre of his very being, our very being. that no matter where he was, whether he was in what he termed a steeple house, which was what he called churches, or you were in the fields, or you were in a garden, you had peace at the centre, a peace that passeth all understanding. And it does passeth all understanding. The Quakers did great work. They worked in the prisons. Margaret Elizabeth Fry, who was a Quaker, she did an awful lot of work in the prisons. If you get a £5 note and turn it over, there's usually on there a picture of Elizabeth Fry. But certainly she brought in penal reform, and they did a tremendous lot of work. But it all depended at peace at the centre. No matter what the stormy blasts bring, what the troubles are in the world or in your own personal life, you know, if you believe in spiritualism, Christianity or humanism, you have the peace at the centre. So I say unto you this evening, I say these words, Pax voviscum, peace be with you.